Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Graham, and today we're going to get ready for Inktober. So for anyone who doesn't know, Inktober is a yearly drawing challenge that happens every year in October. It was started by Jake Parker. I'll put a link to the Inktober website and to Jake Parker's Instagram in the description below. Every year he puts out a list of prompts, and artists around the world follow along and participate in Inktober. So this year I'm going to be participating, and as October is coming up quickly, I thought I would go ahead and get ready. So earlier today I went through and took out all of my markers and all of my ink supplies and put together what I'm planning to use for the Inktober challenge. Now, there's a lot of different ways to approach Inktober. Some people do all black and white drawings, some people use various different inks. You can stick to the prompt list, the official prompt list, or a lot of different artists put out other prompt lists, or you can go completely without a prompt. I know some artists will pick a theme like fairy tales or, whatever theme that they want to pick and do that. For me, what I find works best is limiting the decisions that I have to make every day. So when you're doing a daily art challenge, it can become a little bit overwhelming. So limiting my decisions means limiting my supplies and my color palette. So that's what I did earlier, and we're going to go through and swatch all of the supplies I decided to use. And for my part, I'm probably going to be following along with the official prompt list as much as possible. Past that, it's just making a drawing every day. The initial intent, I believe, that Jake Parker started with was to improve his inking, and that's kind of the idea behind the challenge, and that's something that I kind of want to focus on. So I did preclude any kind of paints or watercolors or art or those kinds of supplies from the selection when I was making my choices. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to do that. Some people do, take the challenge to mean just a drawing every day in the month of October, which is perfectly fine. Like, absolutely do that. For me, I really wanted to challenge myself to work with ink again. And without further ado, let's get into it. So, as far as paper goes, I have a moleskin sketchbook that I'm going to be using. This is a little bit dirty, but also not really an art supply. This is called a Grit-It. It's something that my partner had. She used it for cables when she travels, so I believe it's meant to put like different dongles and cables and whatnot when you're traveling, but it works really, really well for pens. So this is kind of what I use as a to-go drawing kit when I'm out and about. So I'm using a Grit-It to make a to-go kit, and then when I'm at home and in my studio, I can use bottled ink. And let's swatch them out. Okay, first up we're going to start with fine liners. So I have a Pigma Micron 0.005 fine liner. I absolutely love super fine lines, and this does that very, very well. I also have the Pigma Micron PN. All the Pigma Micron pens are archival, waterproof, and fade resistant. So this is a little bit of a stronger line width than the other one. Then I have a Copic multiliner in brown. This is 0.1. Also very, very fine lines. I like this. I've never actually used this pen much, but I like the idea of being able to use brown lines. Just kind of a different thing than just all black line work. I have a Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen. I also have a Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen in indigo. This is a brush pen. I really like this color. It's a very dark blue. Reminds me of Payne's Gray, which I guess is kind of indigo-y. And then this pen, it is all in a foreign language, and I don't know who it's by or where I got it from, sadly, but I love this pen. It has a really interesting nib on one end. If you can see that, it has like little ridges in the nib, and drawing with it is just very enjoyable. So it's the big end, and then this side actually reminds me of the Pigma plastic nib, the PN. So there's that one. And then the only other pen type thing I have is this Molotow Liquid Chrome, and this thing is really awesome. So this legitimately looks like liquid chrome. I have a real love of shiny things, and this is exceptionally shiny. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but it is very shiny. So there's that. And then onto brush pens. So I have 4 brush pens picked out. This one is the black one. Gray. Red. I haven't used this brush pen very much, but I absolutely love the color. It's gorgeous. And then silver. So that one is darker than the Molotow, but also still very shiny. So those are pens, and then when I'm at home, I have bottled inks that I can use with my dip pen. So most of inks, if you have them, they sometimes settle. Some of them are worse than others, and so giving them a good shake before you use them is just a good idea. I will start with black first. This is Winsor & Newton black ink. I love this ink. It is very, very dark. It has really great coverage. It has a really awesome, like, glossy finish. Also from Winsor & Newton is their white ink. I used to use different white pens. I had a Sakura Uni pen, a Jelly Roll pen, a Uni Posca pen, Uni Posca marker, and then I discovered this white ink. It's pretty much exclusively what I use when I'm adding highlights to drawings. I really, really like this white ink. It's very opaque, it flows well, it works well in a brush tip, in a dip pen nib. Next up is silver. As you can see, I like silver things. The silver ink that I have is actually really, really close to the that Molotow chrome marker. They look very, very similar on the paper. Just a slight, I think the ink is just slightly darker. Another one from Winsor & Newton, this one is their gold. I love this gold. I have a gold brush pen, and I have a couple different gold markers, and none of them are even remotely close to this. Most golds I find to be kind of gross, and this gold is just absolutely gorgeous. And with black ink and gold ink, it's one of my favorite combinations. I've done a number of different pieces and illustrations with that combination, and I am very excited to be able to revisit it for Inktober. Next, I have red ink from Higgins. I picked this ink because A, I really like it, but also it is a different, darker red than the red in my brush pen. So I have 2 different reds that I can play off together, and I really like that. The other thing that I really want to be able to practice and work on for Inktober is using my dip pen. So I have a bunch of different nibs, and honestly, I only ever use this one. I very rarely ever change the nib on my dip pen, and so I want to kind of learn more about the different nibs that I have, what they're used for, and how to use them best. So the one that's normally in my dip pen is Hunt Extra Fine. It says 512, but because I know nothing about nibs, I don't actually know what that means. The other ones that I have, I think I got some of them in a set, and the rest of them came from my partner who used to do a lot of calligraphy. So this one is C3, and for all of these nibs, I will read what they say. I have no idea what it means though, because I don't know anything about nibs, and I'm hoping to use Inktober to learn more about that. So if you know literally anything about dip pens or nibs, you probably know more than me. And feel free to share your wisdom in the comments below. Alright, this one is also from Speedball. It is a C1. This is a B1. This is a B6. This is a C4 nib. C2. B3. This says Hunt Imperial 101. This nib is by far the most difficult nib that I have to work with. I was playing around with it a little bit before. It holds a lot of ink, and with a very gentle hand, I'm able to make very fine lines, but the second I apply any pressure, it makes, like, there. I just did it. It like makes a bead of ink. So it definitely allows me the most varied line weights of all of the nibs that I have, but it's the most difficult to use. So this one I think will take the most getting used to. I had to hold myself back from going on a shopping spree and buying all new stuff because I already have all of this and then much more that I had to go through earlier to narrow it down to this. So I decided not to buy all new stuff and just kind of go with what I had. That said, I am probably going to run out of my black ink and I may run out of a couple of other things, so I might need to re-up throughout the month. But the one thing I did go ahead and buy is this liner brush. And this is a Princeton Velvet Touch liner. It says 20/0. And I am not very good at lining with a brush, and so I wanted to learn how to do this better. And so I bought this brush to help me practice doing line work with a brush. A very fine brush. So here you have it, all the supplies I'm going to be using for Inktober. As I said, I'm probably going to be following along with the official prompt list, which has already been put out. From doing these kind of challenges in the past, I find that the best tips that I have are limit your decisions, which for me means limiting the supplies that I'm going to use and the color palette. Have a little bit of planning done beforehand. I know some people will plan out their drawings even as early as now or earlier. For me, the way that I do it is first thing in the morning, I get up and I look at the prompt for the day, and then I spend the rest of the day kind of percolating over ideas, looking up reference photos, those sorts of things, and then by the time I get home at night and, you know, work's over, kids are in bed, dinner's done, all of that, I have that idea kind of solidified in my mind and I can sit down and work on the piece. And that's kind of what works for me. I hope you have a great Inktober if you're going to be participating. I will definitely be posting my stuff on Instagram. I'll hopefully have a couple videos up for it, and I will be following along and seeing what everyone else creates. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I put up my next video. I hope you guys have a great day and happy Inktober.